Hello dear student, myself Kanchan Vishramji Kumbhalkar, Assistant Professor, Chemistry Department of Shri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola. I am here to deliver a 13th lecture on thermoanalytical methods. So let's start with the 13th lecture of thermal method of analysis. The highlighted topics are already completed. In this lecture, we are dealing with the DSC curve and its comparison. So let's start. In previous lecture, we compared and we observed one DSC curve. That point has been continued in this 13th lecture. So let's start the DSC curve and its comparison. A comparison of figure 3, 4 with 5 and 6 will show the fig for endotherms and exotherms, reversed in direction for DTA relative to the DSC. This is the commonly made presentation, but as there is no agreed convention, so different author may use different presentations. So confusion can arise unless care is exercised in the interpretation of that of the thermograms. So there are 4 figures has been counted, that is compared, that is 3, 4th, 5th and 6th figure, which showing the DSC curve, but with respect to the various author there is a putting a interpretation of thermogram can be differentiated on the basis of different author. So let's start the figure number 3. This is the figure number 3, which is a schematic representation of variation of power supply to the sample and references. In this case, we are comparing the reference and sample compound. When we are considering the reference and sample in this area, the reference and sample required the same amount of power supply. Hence, power supply to the heater is common in both sample as well as reference. But when at this temperature range, at this temperature, the reaction is started, that is exothermic reaction has been started. And during exothermic reaction at this temperature, when exothermic reaction started in sample, the power supply for a heater has been reduces, and it indicate that there is something happened in a sample and which indicate the exotherm. Again at this temperature, again the heat requirement, the power supply to the heater for that of the sample and reference is now exactly same from this area to this area. Means at this temperature up to this temperature, the requirement of power to the heater for both sample as well as reference is same. But above this temperature, again the difference has been observed. For sample, there is a requirement of more power supply. Means the sample required for the heating purpose of sample, the power requirement for a heater get increases. But for a reference, we know that reference compound is not affected by the temperature. It is constant. There is no, it is inactive toward the temperature. There is no any kind of reaction has been occurred in a reference. But in a sample, the reaction occurred with respect to the temperature. Hence, at a various temperature, the sample behaves differently. Means in this range of temperature, there is no any reaction. Hence, the reference and sample goes parallelly. But when you are reaching up to this temperature, then at this point the exothermic reaction occurred. The reaction occurred in sample, and hence due to which there is a fluctuation of power supply to the heater for the sample as compared to the reference. There is no any fluctuation in the power supply to the heater with respect to the reference, but for a sample there is a fluctuation observed, and that fluctuation is counted as a DSC curve, that is known as the differential scanning calorimetry. Now there is a next diagram which indicating a authenticated schematic DSC curve. In this curve, we as previously stated that the delta H can be easily mentioned or easily expressed in the sense of delta E. Means delta E is considered as a representative for that of the delta H. In DSC, we are observing that on a x-axis we are putting a temperature value, and on a y-axis we are putting a delta H upon delta T. So for the representative purpose of that of the delta H, the delta E is nothing but a representative for that of the delta H. Whatever the effect happened in delta H, the same effect has been observed as a delta E. Hence, in DSC curve, either putting delta H upon T, we are putting a delta E here. So, when we are considering the delta E versus the temperature of sample and reference, when at this baseline there is no any reaction occurred in a sample, hence the temperature requirement as well as sample as well as reference compound is same. So it is showing there is no any kind of reaction. But when there is some reaction happened in a sample, suppose here the exothermic reaction has been occurred, so delta E become in a negative manner, and when we are considering a endothermic, then delta E bulges, means delta E is positive in this case. So this is the basic DSC curve. So basically in a DSC curve, we are comparing the delta E versus the temperature of sample and references, and we observe two types of bulges and one plain plateau. The bulges indicate either endothermic or exothermic. If delta E value is negative, then it can be considered indicating that the exothermic reaction occurred, and if delta E is positive, then it is occurred as a endothermic aspect of a sample reaction. So this is a particular DSC curve. Next one, the experimental setup for heat flux DSC is very similar to that for the calorimetry for Boresma DTA. So the instrumentation of Boresma DTA is about to equal like that of the DSC by considering the change in heat, that is heat flux. Thus, heat flux DSC will have the same freedom from the thermal properties of the sample and slower response times associated with the Boresma DTA. DSC will generally have better resolution as illustrated in figure 6. Finally, as has been discussed earlier, by measuring the power differential, DSC is making a direct measurement of enthalpy changes and is thus the more satisfactory tool for thermodynamics measurements also. Because we are measuring the delta H, so it can be considered as the most satisfactory tool for that of the thermodynamic aspect, because we are measuring delta H, we are measuring delta T, we are measuring a delta E, a representative of delta H. So it is a very good aspect or a tool, satisfactory tool for the sense of thermodynamic measurement. This is the differential scanning calorimetry apparatus where the heater is existed, which is different for that of the sample as well as reference. This is the sample holder, this is the reference holder. In this case, the sample has been heated with a different heater which is parallelly programmed with that of the reference heater also. So the temperature given to the sample and reference is exactly equal, but they are not placed in the same container or same area. They are placed in a different boxes or different heater format. So these are the heaters, and this is nothing but a DSC apparatus where S is considered as a sample, R is a reference, and these are the sample holder, and this is the reference holder. So this is the diagram for apparatus for that of the DSC. And finally, the sixth one. This sixth graph indicating the difference between or comparative study of DSC and DTA for a particular material, that is copper sulfate with a 5 water molecule, penta aqua molecules. So in this case, there are comparatively the DTA and DSC curve has been observed. So in a DSC curve, we can identify that the temperature placed in a x-axis, which is similar to the DTA curve. But in a DSC, the differential power or the power supply to the sample and reference that has been get mentioned on a y-axis, means the comparison is between differential power versus temperature. But in a DTA, we know that there is a difference in temperature versus temperature, means in this case when we are considering the DSC curve, in a DSC curve we are observing the delta H upon delta T to maintain an energy level, or to maintain a delta T is equal to 0. The energy level can be get fluctuated, and hence the difference in energy or the power is counted as a point of comparison on y-axis. But when we are considering for the DTA curve difference in temperature with respect to the temperature has been putting. The curve showing about the similar results, but DSC is much more accurate, much more clear, and it is more authenticated as compared to the DTA curve. This is the, so on the behalf of this figure, it has been cleared that as compared to DTA, DSC is about more advanced and it showing more accurate result. So this is all about the comparison of DSC and DTA. In short, in summary, TG can be used to detect a change in weight with a change of temperature. So there are three techniques has been under observation in this summary. There are TG, DTA and DSC. TG means thermogravimetry. In thermogravimetry, we are detecting the change in weight with respect to the temperature. If there is an increase in temperature, what is the effect of weight, or what is the loss of weight takes place? That has been observed under a TG curve, or that has been observed under a thermogravimetry, that is TG. In DTA, which is more advanced as compared to TG, in DTA we observe DTA can be used to detect a phase change. Means in that case we can observe that there are the sulfur has been observed under the DTA curve. So in that case, liquid transformation, solid transformation, rhombic crystal get converted into monoclinic crystal, then there is a solid compound get converted into liquid, and liquid get converted into the gases. Means boiling, melting and boiling can be sharply observed in a DTA. Means in a DTA we can use to detect a phase change. In TG we are just using a weight change with respect to temperature. In DTA the change in weight with respect to temperature we definitely observe, but with that we can easily observe detecting phase changes. And the most, however, the good quality data on phase changes and decomposition can best be obtained using DSC. Means as compared to TG, as compared to DTA, DSC is the much more appropriate as well as accurate method to detect changes in phases, decomposition temperature and weight changes. So this is the good quality data on phase changes and decomposition, which is known as the DSC, that is differential scanning calorimetry. For this lecture we have enough point. Now in the next lecture we will start with the applications of DSC and the finally summary of DSC. Up to then, take care, be safe, stay safe. Thank you very much.